Well, fake rhino horn made from horsehair could boost conservation efforts. Scientists from Oxford University and the Fudan University in Shanghai are behind this invention, and they hope that the fake horn will confuse and in turn diminish demand for the real thing. To tell us more, I'm joined via Skype by Professor Fritz Vollrath from Oxford's Zoology Department. Prof, a very good evening to you and thanks for your time. So tell us how this will work.
Well, now, the horn of the rhino is, by all intents and purposes, a tuft of nose hair. We found a way of copying it simply by taking the tail hairs of a horse and gluing them together with a protein mix and a little bit of cellulose in it. And if you then look at it, it really does resemble the fine structure of the rhino horn and the coarse structure as well. So we think that, A, we've shown that we can make something that looks like a rhino horn very cheaply. Anybody can make it. We are offering the recipe of how to make it. We're not proposing to make it ourselves. And what we hope, in addition to giving out the recipes, actually starting a press campaign in China saying that, look, there's nothing magical about rhino horn. It's just a tuft of hair. Why would you spend all this money? Especially if the probability that somebody is, some backstreet entrepreneur is making it very cheaply. So
this is just to clarify, Prof, this is just aesthetic. It's just something that's going to look like a rhino horn. They can grind it up if they do that for whatever purposes, whatever they think it actually does for them. It will look as, it will be the same thing, the same texture, whatever it is, as if they were grinding a real rhino horn.
That's correct.
Okay, so do you really think that you'll be able to convince, like you say, you are going to be running a campaign, and I think, you know, for so long now we've been trying to tell people that this actually doesn't do anything. It really can't be doing anything for you. But how do you hope that your campaign is going to convince people that, you know, one, this is really not going to work, or that this will pass the test?
I think it's much more along the lines of a Rolex watch. Would you spend a lot of money on a Rolex watch on a street corner where you're not sure whether it is a real Rolex watch or a fake? That's the one aspect of it. The other aspect is that demystifying it, I think, will get through to the rising middle classes in Asia, which are the real threat. I mean, we already have the threat right now. But can you imagine if it becomes a fashion item to get rhino horn in the young generations? So they, I hope, will listen and say, look, it is a tuft of hair. Don't worry about it. It's nothing magical about it. It can be made very cheaply and very easily by fakers, and they will put it on the market. So what's the probability of me spending a lot of money for a real rhino horn? If I even believe that it does have magical properties.
Prof, the other problem is that our poachers are here in South Africa, who probably know this as well. But, you know, they go after this, they probably
will
get
help,
pictures.
Sorry, that will help with...
I'm not sure what kind of proof that they normally have to send to the dealers. I'm going to call them that, but I would imagine that they would have to take pictures to, okay, and I think we have, okay, Prof, I thought we lost you, but we do have you there. How do you convince the poachers who are in South Africa to say, listen, you don't have to go after real rhinos? Because I would imagine that they send proof. They show the rhino, they show how they've cut the horn off to say that this is real. Because obviously a lot of people will be suspecting fakes out there already anyway.
You're absolutely right. And people expect fakes, but it's a black market affair anyway. So how likely is it that a photograph can be matched with a particular horn? How likely is it that a certificate is matched to a particular horn? I think if the belief is there that the market is totally undermined with fake copies that are cheap and reliable, that then people will become more wary and walk away, hopefully. Whether the fake horns are actually made in South Africa, that's a possibility, or whether they're made in the final market. I think it's neither here nor there. It's simply the issue of creating the belief that there is a lot of non-genuine material out there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I suppose the ignorance about this, Prof, will continue. People will continue to think that it has magical powers until they finally realize it actually doesn't. Thank you very much for your time. That's Fritz Vollrath. He's Fritz Vollrath from the University of Oxford's Zoology Department.